Hey guys, welcome to my first episode on this cooking channel. I want to go ahead and show you guys a basic recipe for some Mexican red rice or Arroz Rojo with some vegetables. So in this cooking channel, I feel it's very important to teach people how to cook. There's a lot of guys, a lot of girls that are younger generation, don't know how to cook. They may know how to beat their face, but they need to know these basic ass recipes. So I want to go ahead and get started with one today. Like I said, we're going to make un arroz rojo. This one you can accompany it with any guisado on the side. Here are the ingredients for our arroz rojo. Our first ingredient that we have is the chicken bouillin, or us Mexicans, we know it como Knorr Swissa. You're going to get a little bit of the cap, one full cap, and maybe a little bit more. Try not to pack it in, because the more you pack into the little serving thing, the saltier it's going to be. So the next item is a fourth of an onion. The onion isn't really that big. It's like a medium size, but you're going to need 1/4 of it. And that one, you don't need to chop it up or anything fancy. Just get 1/4 of it, and we're going to go ahead and put that in the blender as well. The next ingredient are 2 cloves of garlic. They're kind of big, kind of on the big side. I really like my food to be a little bit garlicky, so if you're not a big fan, go ahead and just feel free to add 1. But in this case, you know, your girl likes it garlicky, so we're gonna do 2. On the other side, we have our vegetable medley. It has some, what the hell are these called? Green beans. We have carrots, and we have some peas, and why is it so hard to remember that? Corn. So you can get this in the frozen food section. Why am I, hold up, there we go. You can get this in the frozen food section, and they already come pre-cut, pre-washed. I just go ahead and take about like half or 1/4 of the bag that they come in, and give it a quick rinse and let them thaw out as you are preparing the rest of your ingredients. I unfortunately don't have any fresh tomato, which is already a Mexican fail, because one Mexican family don't have tomatoes in their refrigerator. So I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 cans of tomato puree. And the start of the show is obviously our rice. This is white long grain rice. Please forgive my camera skills. Obviously I suck. But anyways, we're gonna use una taza. Now, us Hispanic people, well, at least in my household, I was always taught that whenever you take a cup of rice, you're gonna use the same amount of water as its recipient mug, whatever. So si es una taza de arroz, you're gonna get 2 tazas and 1/4 of water. That's gonna be the equivalent of making your rice. Now, if you don't want to use my measurements, of course, like I said, well, maybe I haven't said it, but I probably said it in my head, but I don't really measure things. I go ahead and cook with feeling. If that's a little bit hard for you, I'll try to keep it as close to a measurement as I can. But basically, get a mug, fill it with rice. That's how much you're gonna make, and then you're gonna do double that in water and 1/4 of it. So I'll show you a little bit with the video, so it's not as complicated as I'm making it seem. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and wash nuestra taza de arroz. My mom always told me, go ahead and wash your rice, because you never know how many people have touched it, what it's touched, whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a little wash. Just as long as the water is not super milky white anymore. Come on, rice, you're making me look bad, girl. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down, because obviously I am super new at this, and this is already hard. Damn, hold up. Damn! Damn, I should have forced one of my sisters to help me out. Okay. It's gonna be cutted. Don't do that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and one more time. You don't need to go crazy like me, but just 2 times for good measure. Okay. And then with one hand, trying to seem cool, dump up the rice. Okay. We put in this little sedazo just so that el agua que está escurriendo, it could be caught in the thing down at the bottom. Okay. Next. Okay. So now I wanted to show you guys what I was talking about when I was telling you about la taza de arroz, the cup of rice. So I used one of these for the rice. And now, as far as water, you need you need 2 full mugs and a 4th. If you kind of see, the one on the right side is a 4th of water. That's how much water we're going to use to make our rice. So as you can see here in the blender, I went ahead and added the tomato puree cans. Entonces lo que voy a hacer with this little bit of 1/4 of water, I'm going to take it and I'm going to rinse out these 2 little tin cans because nothing goes to waste. And we're going to give them a little swirl, put them in the blender, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add the ingredients to the blender. We have the 2 garlics, then we have the 4th of onion, put that in there. And then with this, if this is your first time making it, go ahead and hold off from adding this until everything's blended and you're adding it into the rice while it's frying. You want to go ahead and taste it, but for my taste, this is how much we add. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and then you can go ahead and add the water. I'm not. When it's the actual tomatoes that you use, like the tomato jitomate romanos or the big beefy tomatoes, you can go ahead and add the water to the blender to make it easier to liquefy. But since it's basically all pureed because your girl's dumbass didn't go get tomatoes, we're just gonna keep it like this. Now, when I usually make the recipe, I only add 1 can of the tomato puree with the actual tomatoes. And how many tomatoes? Like if they're Roman tomatoes to medium to kind of large, I put 3. And if it's that big beefy tomato, I do a giant one and a 4th of another one. But in this case, I'm just gonna put the 2 pureed cans, and I did add la taza de 1/4 de agua. I've already added this one, the 4th cup of water. And we're gonna blend this, and then we're gonna get ready for the next step. Remember, this whole time your rice is draining in the strainer so that when you put it to fry in the oil, it doesn't splatter everywhere and mess up your clean stove. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this. So we're gonna go ahead and take a pot. Make sure it's a pot that has a lid on it because you're gonna wanna create steam and have all this vapor and everything cook your rice evenly. So we're gonna go ahead and turn on our thing. Let me see if I can show you. You don't want it to be a todo lo que da. You want it kind of like a, damn girl, where's the flame? Okay, kind of like medium heat. Okay, you have your sartén, medium heat. To this le vas a agregar el aceite que quieras. We cook with olive oil in this house. If you want to do canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever oil you want to use, go ahead and use it. The only type of oil I wouldn't recommend is coconut oil. I think that one's gonna burn, and yeah, you don't want no crusty rice. So we're gonna put enough to coat the bottom of the pan, And you have to make sure that your rice is dry or else it's gonna splatter all over the place. So we're gonna go ahead and add our rice next. Okay, so I went ahead and turned on the overhead light because, you know, I'm stupid and it was looking a little bit dark. So I'm just waiting for our oil to heat up, and I'm gonna go ahead and test some rice. Okay, so here we have our rice. It should be fairly dry. You could see underneath el agua que se estaba draining. Okay, here we have our rice. Let's try this out. It's still not quite hot. You want to hear a little sizzle. Okay, so it's sounding like it's time. So it's like time to put our rice. And you'll grow stupid because I'm gonna put the lid right on top. It was probably just a little bit mojadito from the bottom, but it's okay. Just put a little bit of the lid and shake it. Alright. So at this point, what you're trying to do is you want to go ahead and coat the rice with the oil, and you want to get a golden brown. Not a super dark brown, ya está quemado, you forgot to turn it. Just a nice golden brown. And if it's your first time cooking, go ahead and have some rice that you haven't cooked on the side so you can be comparing it. You'll see the little golden tone that it takes. Some people like it a little bit more golden, others like it barely to turn gold, but for me, a nice gold color all throughout, pretty even. This is the most boring part. This is the part that my mom would make us stand here, help her cook when we were like 10, and we'd have to be stirring the rice, and I hated this part. I felt like it took like 30 minutes, but you know, when you're a kid, you're dumb. You think everything takes forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and literally be here till it turns gold. Do not walk away from this. You will burn it. Trust me. Many years of making this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving it around, and then I'll show you the golden tone that I think is perfect for your rice to be at. Alright, this is the point that I was talking about. This is how gold you want it. And now, you could see que está saliendo un poquito de humo. You want to go ahead and put the flame as low as it can go. And don't forget to keep stirring it, because the moment, el sartén is hot. So the pot is really hot, the oil's hot. So any piece of rice that you're not moving, it's going to get burned. So just take a look at it. And let me see if I can focus this. Focus, girl. Worse. Worse. Hella worse. Okay. I'll let this focus. We're gonna mess up our rice. Okay. This is the tone you want it to take. This is a little trick my dad taught me. Go ahead and coat the bottom of the pan, and then you're going to remove it from the heat completely. See how low it is? And you're going to let it calm down for a little bit. And todo lo que licuaste, so everything that's in the blender, you're gonna go ahead and add it now. So I have my little assistant, forced assistant, helping me. And we're gonna go ahead and take, we have my lid right here. We're gonna put this in and right away close it up, just so that it splatters, but with the lid on and it doesn't get all over your stove. Just give it a little second. it up quickly and just stir it with your rice. And at this point, you can go ahead and put it back onto the flame. All right. And we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of what's in the blender. And then you see this left over in your blender. You're gonna go ahead and take your 2 cups of water, pour it in here, swish it around, and put it in the pot because nothing goes to waste. All right, so oh my God, that thing is hot. Okay, so I went ahead and put the 2 cups of water in the blender, switched it around, and put it in here. Now, don't forget your vegetables at this point. You can go ahead and add them. Ya no deben de estar congelados because they have been out for like a long time. So let's put that in there. Girl, come on. Okay, that one clearly wants to make me feel embarrassed. Okay, we give this a little swirl. And at this point, this is where you want to go ahead and taste it. Because once your rice is done, what? You're just going to throw rice crystals on top. Rice crystals. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. You're gonna throw salt crystals on top, and then what? You're gonna have a salty top and an insipid bottom. So you wanna go ahead and try it now. If I was rich, I had a camera crew. So I'm just gonna take a little bit in my spoon and try it. I think it's the perfect amount of salt. And then this is where you go ahead and this is the make it or break it. Step 1, stir it, of course, put on the lid, and you are not touching that lid anymore. You touch it, you ruin your rice. You want it to create some vapor on the inside, and that's what's gonna go ahead and cook the rice evenly. All the grains on the top, all the grains at the bottom, no se te va a pegar. It's gonna be perfect. Now, at this point, our flame is pretty much really low. You want to go ahead and put it up. If we could even see the flame, this thing. Hello? Okay. We've put it from low to medium. You want to start a rapid simmer, rapid boil, whatever. ¿Quieres poner esto? Que empiece a hervir luego. Once it starts boiling right away, there's a bunch of bubbles forming. You go ahead and lower it to the lowest heat setting possible. Don't ask me about no electric stoves. I've never cooked on those. Those are very different. This is just the ones where you could adjust the flame. So we're gonna go ahead and stand here like a statue until it starts bubbling. And it shouldn't take that long because the contents of the pan were already hot. So we just want to go ahead and heat it till you see the bubbles. Okay, so at this point, obviously you can't, no le puedes quitar la tapa because you're gonna release all that steam that's created, pero you can really hear it boiling. Let me see, can you hear it? Well, through the condensation on the glass, you can see que se está haciendo the little bubbles. Is basically boiling. So at this moment, you're gonna go ahead and bajarle todo lo que da. Put it on the lowest heat setting, and you're going to cook your rice. Honestly, the time frame, I'm not really good. This pretty much, I've been making this for years. This is pretty much the first time I'm gonna go ahead and look at the time frame. It's 2:44 p.m. right now. Le bajé todo lo que da, so I put it all the way to the lowest heat settings. I'm not going to stir it. I'm not going to remove the tapadera. I'm going to keep it covered, and we're going to see how long this goes. You're going to keep periodically checking on it like every 5 minutes hasta que se consuma toda el agua. You want to make sure that all the water has been absorbed by the rice. And if you see any puddles in the middle or whatever, keep it covered until it's pretty much dry on the top. So I'm gonna check on this periodically. It's 2:45, we said 2:44. And we'll check on the rice to see when it's ready. So right now it's 2:56. The last time we looked at this was 2:44. And if you can tell, let me try to get a good angle. There's still a little bit of liquid around the rim of the pot. Entonces, do not, like I said, do not remove the lid. You'll be tempted to check the rice, but it's still looking pretty wet on the top, so you want to go ahead and keep on letting it cook. Okay, so our arroz rojo is here. It's 3:04 p.m. so it's been a little bit more like 20 minutes. And I'm starting to see that it's, you can't really tell, but take my word for it. Don't open the lid. It's starting to look like it's drying up. You see a little bit of como hoyitos on top of the sauce where the vapor is coming through from the bottom. So you want to go ahead and see that all throughout. I feel like on the back side over here we still have a little bit of way to go. So I'm gonna give this like 5 more minutes, and that's when I'll actually open the lid, take a look, and see if the rice on the bottom has consumed the water, and if it's, hopefully it's not burning. So we're gonna go ahead and check. We're gonna go ahead and check back in 5 minutes. Okay, so it's 3:08 now. I didn't let it go the full 10 minutes. I have a feeling this is already done. So I'm gonna go ahead and uncover this for the first time. Oh, and let's take a look at our rice. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Wait. Okay, now what I like to do is I take my spoon y en medio. I like to check. Okay, there's no more liquid. Ooh. Hold on, girl. There is no more liquid down there. And the edges are pretty much the liquid has been absorbed. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now. Now you could close this, put the lid on it. Oops. You could put the lid on it again and then remove it from the heat. And your rice is pretty much done. So it took from 2:45 to 3:08, and that was like what? Let me count. 15. That was 23 minutes in total. Oh, girl, bye. It took 23 minutes desde que le pusimos the lid, since we put the lid, until it was finished, consumed up the water. And I'm gonna go ahead and try a little bit of the rice, make sure that it actually is cooked. And we have some here on our spatula. I'm gonna try it. Okay, perfect. The grains are not hard. That means our rice is done. We can go ahead and you could let it sit for a little bit porque ahorita está super caliente, or you could serve it right away. It's up to you. All right, I'll be back and I'll plate it. Okay, hay que servirnos arroz. I hate it when people grab this spoon and serve from the middle. Like, why are you a savage? Just get it from the side, just like this. Oh my gosh, yes! And we're gonna serve we're gonna serve ourselves some rice. You could get the vegetables. The vegetables usually float up to the surface. You could just get some from there. I think that's enough. And we're gonna go ahead and try it. Okay, let me just seal this back up. Let's take our friend that we worked so hard, put it right here, And let me get a spoon and we're gonna try it. It is nice and fluffy. It's cooked all the way through. It's not nasty, mushy. The grains still keep their shape. Now let me shut up and try it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God. It's really good. It's no está muy salado, not too salty. Perfect flavor. Again, this was using the canned tomato puree porque my ass didn't have any fresh tomatoes. But igual you could substitute those cans with fresh tomato, either the Roma tomato or the big beefy tomato. This is our red rice. I'm really happy you got to the end of the video. Hopefully tu arroz te sale igual de delicioso o hasta mejor. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what are some of the things that you changed and what are some of the things that you want to add. Like I said, you don't, well, maybe I didn't say it, but you don't have to add the specific vegetables that I added. Hay gente que le pone nada más la zanahoria picada, or just the canned corn, or even fresh corn. It's up to you whether you want to use canned, fresh, or frozen. Para mí es menos trabajo agarrar las que ya están picadas y lavadas y congeladas, and it has the medley of vegetables. But you can add whatever you want. So let me know how it turns out, and thanks for watching.